reasons I appreciate it is it's really helped us stay connected over the years. And so when I reached out to you about being a guest here on Still Creative, it was when I mentioned creativity, you had really an immediate reaction to that in terms of your personal experience. And as you described, seeing things differently. Can you tell me what you meant by that?
When I was in the Navy, getting, technical training in the Navy and just having a holistic systems thinking approach to seeing, because I had to understand like everything on the ships that were all interconnected and working together and really being able to troubleshoot everything from end to end. So now when I see things, even though I've got a software development background, which is very, so when I went to school and got that education, it's very micro focused, but going into it, I was always macro, big picture, holistic systems thinking. So now when I see things, I understand the micro, but I look at it through a macro lens.
Back through your education, if you look back to even when you were a kid, can you see elements of creativity that you had even then, or was it more developed over time?
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's really hard to tell. I do know that I feel very comfortable sharing my ideas with others because I lead with trust and I lead with respect. And I always listen and I try to use discernment when I'm listening to others' ideas. So I feel very comfortable sharing my own ideas. And I don't mind thinking outside of the box.
And what I heard was that elements like your values and trusting people are contributing to you being creative. And the other thing that jumped out at me was this element of not being afraid to come from left field and throw ideas out there. Linking to the name Still Creative, to me, that's stillness, that's being comfortable and having that stillness, that comfort, as you described, and throwing out ideas and having people listen to them because of who you are as a person, how you treat them. I see that all coming together nicely. So that's great. The things I learned about you, as we talked about today, was, and I'm changing subjects a little bit here,
Sure.
but I wanted to talk about you being an advocate for youth.
Oh, yeah.
As you shared with me. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'm very passionate about that. So that's my life's purpose. And I can't wait until all of this pandemic stuff subsides so that I can get back to it. But I was visiting high school classrooms and talking to computer science students. And I love it. I spoke to all the teachers, and I go to these high school classrooms and talk to the kids and advocate STEM. Look into it. Look into tech. The demand is there. The demand is, supply and demand curve is ridiculous.
Yes.
So look into it, because I never would have thought. I never would have guessed that I would love tech as much as I do. So I advocated to kids, give it a chance. I
learned about through our conversation. So informatics diversity enhanced workforce.
Yes.
I learned about that. Now, as thinking about the work you're doing there, and clearly you're passionate about it, the word presence comes to my mind. And, I'm sure that those students remember what they hear from you, but I want to emphasize, my feeling is that they remember how they felt being in the room with you and hearing what you have to share and seeing the passion that you have for it. So that's amazing that you're doing that work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the I Do program is amazing. The School of Informatics and the kids. I can't believe it, Eric. I'm telling you, like the first time I talked to a classroom, all the kids stood up and there was like a standing ovation. Because I'm like, look, I'm from the west side over here. I'm from 30th and the River. I'm from right up the street. And now I'm like a director at Genesis. And you know, like I lead a team of a dozen engineers and we do all these cool things. So yeah, I just
Yes.
like encouraging the kids.
That's great. You're inspiring them, you're encouraging them, and nothing like a round of applause as evidence of how you're making people feel. So that's good. I'm sure it felt great for you.
Completely
well.
unexpected. I was just like, wow.
Yeah. Can you talk about that combination, or more on the being disciplined and pragmatic side, and how that supports creativity?
I like the way you just put that. Being pragmatic and disciplined supports creativity because you understand when you approach creativity, I feel like some people are afraid to get creative because of how much work is behind it. It's hard work, very hard work. But I don't default to thinking about how difficult the problem is to solve. I think about the feasibility. Is it technically feasible? Then we can do it. But you need that discipline, right? So the pragmatism comes from the understanding of, is it technically feasible? Okay, it's technically feasible. Where a lot of people shy away, and I feel like it keeps them from getting creative, is because how much actual work comes behind that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work, and it's not easy. If we could automate, if automation was so easy, everyone would do it, right? I mean, we'd all automate ourselves out of a job or whatever, but it's not easy. But if it's technically feasible, then we have to do that. So you talked about pragmatism, and it's really all about technical feasibility and being practical about estimating the level of effort and planning for it and allocating enough engineering resources to tackle that problem.
As I look at your experience, I see lots of examples of discipline, including certifications. And so your certifications include Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt, Certified Agile Scrum Master, Certified Scrum Product Owner, Cisco Network Associate. You have Azure and AWS certifications. So for those who are unfamiliar with those certifications, how would you say those help you be an innovative leader?
Well, having the knowledge, and that's the whole thing, is that when you actually understand the internet and you understand cloud, you understand the cloud. You understand how the internet works, you understand the cloud and how all of this is running in the background, then you begin to, and I've talked to you about this before, Eric, then you begin to understand that there is no spoon. And that's that reference back to The Matrix, the movie, with the little kid. I think he was Buddhist or something. Like, he looked like a monk, right?
I went and watched that clip because I wasn't familiar with it, but I have seen it now.
Yeah, so now he's been in the spoon, and Neo's looking at him, and they're in the waiting room waiting on to go see the Oracle, and he's like, you know, the thing you have to understand is it's not about the spoon and how to bend the spoon. It's that there is no spoon. And it's software. And once you have the underlying education, then you understand it's very malleable. It's very flexible. It's software.
I can see how, as I look at your career, see how you've been able to build great relationships. And among the things that come from those great relationships are people hearing the ideas that you bring to the table. So it's been really interesting to talk with you. So I want to say thank you also for your great work that you're doing in the community and for sharing your gifts and sharing your time with me today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.